It's midnight, and the station sleeps under a shroud of mist. The yellow lights flicker weakly, casting broken shadows that stretch across the empty platform. A cold wind drifts through, whispering secrets as old newspapers scrape across the concrete. Not a soul in sight, yet the silence feels alive, breathing, watching, waiting. Somewhere beyond the fog, a train is coming, but no one knows from where or who's still aboard. The night was cold, the air thick with fog as Daniel, Emily, Ryan, and Chris stepped onto the empty platform, laughing, their breaths swirling like smoke in the moonlight. Their luggage wheels echoed softly, breaking the stillness that hung heavy all around them. Far off in the distance, the haunting cry of a train horn drifted through the mist, then faded, leaving only silence. The station felt frozen in time, every shadow alive with quiet anticipation. None of them knew that this would be their last night of laughter before the train arrived. An old man in a dark uniform stares at them without emotion. His wrinkled hand punches their ticket slowly, eyes cold and hollow. Behind him, the shadow of the train looms in the fog. The friends stepped inside the ancient train car, the metal beneath their feet groaning like something alive. The air was thick with dust and memories, every breath tasting of rust and age. Faint whispers drifted through the corridor, distant, echoing, impossible to tell if they were real. The seats, once deep red velvet, were now faded and torn, holding the weight of forgotten passengers. A pale beam of moonlight spilled through the cracked windows, cutting through the darkness, and in that silence, they realized the train was far older than it should be. The train shakes slightly, lights flicker. Ryan jokes nervously, while Daniel frowns, sensing something off. The fog outside glows faintly blue. Cinematic motion blur, tense expressions, shallow depth of field. A silent woman in a white dress sits at the far end of the carriage. Her face is hidden by long, dark hair. Every blink, she seems to move closer. Realistic horror lighting, cold blue color tone, eerie focused depth. Chris looks back. The woman is gone. Only her seat remains damp, as if she had just risen from water. The sound of dripping echoes. Wet texture, empty seat. Subtle, supernatural realism. Daniel finds a torn photograph under the seat. The same woman from before, standing beside a train, decades old. Her eyes look directly at the camera. Old sepia photo, ghostly blur, dark cinematic shadows. Emily hears her name whispered softly in her ear. The camera pans to her terrified face, then to the empty space beside her. Close-up shot, dramatic lighting on face, soft motion blur, horror realism. The train lights dim suddenly, plunging the cabin into half darkness. Only the faint blue glow from the fog outside remains. Emily grips Daniel's arm, her face pale with fear. Cinematic low light, soft shadows, tension-filled realism. Ryan tries to open the rear carriage door, but it's gone, replaced by smooth, seamless metal. He touches it, trembling. The sound of distant footsteps echoes. Close-up of fearful man, metallic textures, moody lighting. From outside the window, a woman's scream pierces the night. The fog moves like waves, revealing faint silhouettes running alongside the train. Daniel spots someone sitting in the luggage rack above, a pale, thin man with dark, hollow eyes staring down silently. His lips twitch, as if whispering. Overhead creepy figure, realistic detail, eerie composition. Ryan shouts for help. Lights flicker violently. Seats shake. Windows rattle. Chris grabs his phone but sees static instead of signal. Dynamic lighting, cinematic motion blur, terrified expressions. When the lights return, Ryan is gone. Only his jacket lies on the floor. A faint, bloody handprint stains the window glass. Cinematic realism, close up on bloody handprint, chilling atmosphere. Emily clutches Daniel's hand, tears glistening under dim light. The train seems endless, carriage after carriage stretching into darkness. Realistic perspective depth, emotional expression, soft cinematic lighting. The same old ticket collector walks through the aisle, his eyes black now. His voice echoes distorted, repeating, "Next stop, nowhere." Dark uniform, hollow face, supernatural realism. Chris peers outside and sees ghostly faces pressed against the glass, screaming silently. Their breath fogs the window from the outside. Close-up horror realism, cold blue lighting, ghostly reflections. A thin line of blood leads down the corridor toward the next carriage. The friends exchange terrified looks before slowly walking forward. Low-angle cinematic shot, red tone contrast, suspenseful lighting. Daniel pushes open a heavy steel door, revealing a corridor covered in rust and dripping water. A faint humming echoes from beyond. Emily hesitates, clutching her flashlight. Cinematic moisture texture, eerie light reflection, realism. They enter an old dining carriage filled with dusty tables and broken chairs. Plates still hold rotted food. A ceiling fan spins slowly on its own. High-detail cinematic realism, soft golden glow mixed with darkness. 23. On one wall hangs a faded family portrait, the same woman they saw before, standing with passengers dressed from another century. One face looks exactly like Emily. Old oil painting texture, creepy resemblance, vintage horror aesthetic. The dishes on the tables begin to rattle and whisper. Words form from nowhere. She never left. Emily gasps as her reflection appears in a shattered glass. Chris starts laughing uncontrollably, eyes turning glassy. Invisible hands pull him backward into the shadows. His voice fades. Dynamic motion, blurred struggle, haunting backlight effect. The train walls begin to move and scream like living flesh. Daniel shields Emily as the lights flash red. The metal pulses with life. Organic texture realism. Red horror lighting. Claustrophobic framing. Emily looks into a mirror and sees herself in a blood-soaked wedding dress. Her reflection smiles when she doesn't. Realistic mirror lighting. Soft fog, horror dual expression detail. Daniel confronts the ghostly woman from the photo. Her form flickers between beauty and decay. Her voice echoes, "You took my place." Cinematic face transformation, ethereal lighting, eerie atmosphere. Emily realizes the woman was killed on this very train, and she's been calling her to finish what she started. Her eyes widen with terror and pity. Tearful face, faint ghost overlay, emotional realism. The ghost attacks. Daniel smashes a lantern, setting the carriage ablaze. Firelight dances on the ghost's transparent body as it screams. Cinematic fire effects, motion blur, bright orange-blue lighting contrast. Fire spreads through the dining car, painting the walls orange and black. Daniel drags Emily through smoke and ash as ghostly faces scream in the flames. Cinematic fire realism, orange-blue contrast, smoke haze depth. They reach a long corridor where shadows move independently of their owners. Every flicker of light reveals twisted silhouettes reaching toward them. Dark cinematic tones, long perspective depth, horror surrealism. A tall, faceless figure stands motionless at the end of the hall, dressed in an old conductor's coat. The smoke seems to swirl around him like mist. Backlit silhouette, eerie fog effect, realistic shadow detailing. They burst into a carriage covered in ice and frost, breath turning white in the air. A single passenger sits frozen solid, eyes open wide in fear. High detail frost textures, cold blue cinematic light, sharp realism. The train jerks suddenly and everything repeats. The same scream, the same flicker, the same movement. Emily realizes they are trapped in a time loop. Motion freeze realism, surreal glow, cinematic tension. The ghost woman appears again. Calmer now, her voice trembles. This train carries souls that never found peace. Daniel listens, terrified yet sympathetic. Soft, ghostly glow, emotional tone, cinematic close-up. A vision flashes. Daniel as a child standing at a train crash site, the same train number burned into his memory. He realizes his connection to this curse. Dreamlike lighting, fire debris, emotional backstory framing. Emily insists they must end the curse, even if it means destroying the train. Daniel nods, determination and fear in his eyes. Close-up emotional realism, firelight reflection, cinematic resolve. They gather broken lanterns and metal rods as weapons. Sparks rain from above while the train screeches through endless tunnels. Dynamic action framing, smoke trails, cinematic blue-orange light balance. Whispering voices grow louder, forming an unholy choir. Faces appear in the smoke, chanting their names as the train rushes toward a dark mountain. Cinematic fog realism, spiritual horror, ethereal composition. The train enters a pitch-black tunnel. All windows go dark. Only the reflection of Daniel and Emily's terrified faces glows faintly in the glass. Cinematic black tunnel, soft face reflections, ultra-realistic low light. Emily touches the wall, and the world freezes. Suddenly, she stands in the past, watching the same train derail in flames. Screams echo from every direction. Time distortion visual, glowing orange smoke, surreal cinematic tone. The ghost woman appears beside Emily, whispering her tale, murdered on this train by her lover, left to burn amidst the train crashed decades ago. Soft ghost glow, 1950s-style clothing, cinematic emotional realism. Emily sees the ghost's killer. He looks exactly like Daniel, only older and darker. Past and present collide as the truth unfolds. Dual exposure realism, face overlap effect, horror lighting contrast. Daniel collapses, realizing he is the descendant of the man who killed her. Tears mix with soot on his face as the train screams through the dark. A life must pay for a life, the ghost cries. The train car fills with icy wind as lights explode one by one. Emily stands between Daniel and the spirit. Emily shouts, "Take me instead!" Her voice echoes through the empty cars. The ghost pauses. Her expression softens, torn between rage and sorrow. The ghost attacks, wrapping Emily in spectral fire. Daniel runs through the smoke, grabbing a burning metal rod to strike the spirit. The train derails violently. Fire engulfs everything. Daniel shields Emily as the car flips in slow motion. Screams vanish into blinding white light. Silence. The wreck lies in fog-covered forest ruins. Emily coughs, crawling from the wreckage, searching for Daniel. but he's gone. Smoke rises from the shattered train lying across a forest clearing. The air is silent except for faint crackles of fire. Emily limps through the wreck, calling Daniel's name. Cinematic post-disaster realism, dawn mist, soft fire glow. Emily finds her reflection in a broken mirror. Behind her, ghostly silhouettes of lost passengers watch silently, fading one by one into the fog. The old conductor stands at the edge of the forest, holding his lantern. His face is calm now. The train is free, he says, before dissolving into ashes. Emily hears Daniel's voice calling faintly from the distance. She runs through the mist, heart pounding, until she finds his body, lifeless but peaceful. Emily kneels beside him, placing her hand on his chest. The ghost woman appears once more, whispering, "He gave what was owed." Then she fades completely. Dawn breaks over the horizon, golden rays cutting through the fog. Emily stands alone among the wreckage, her clothes torn, eyes reflecting light and loss. A faint train whistle echoes in the distance, but no tracks remain. The fog moves gently, as if the ghost train still passes unseen. Emily finds Daniel's watch, lying on the ground, stopped exactly at midnight. She holds it tightly, whispering, "We made it through." Ghostly silhouettes appear behind Emily, the freed passengers smiling faintly, before dissolving into morning light. Peace replaces terror. Emily walks away from the wreck through a quiet field, fog rolling behind her. As she vanishes into the sunrise, the faint sound of a train horn echoes once more.